It's the middle of the afternoon. A 50-year-old interior designer is at home eating a burger from Wendy's when a killer sneaks in through the garage and beats her to death with a hammer. 6 days later, the same guy murders a sleeping family the same way. Their 3-year-old daughter is the only survivor and she barely makes it. Who is the hammer killer? Let's recap. Sometime between midnight and 6 a.m., an intruder sneaks into the Bennett family's home, and that is when things take a horrifying turn. At some point, 27-year-old Bruce Bennett realizes someone's in the house with them. He tries to fight the guy off several times on different floors of the house and even on the stairs. But Bruce doesn't stand a chance. The intruder attacks him with a claw hammer, slashes him with a knife, then slits his throat. The killer moves on to Bruce's wife, 26-year-old Deborah, and their 8-year-old daughter, Melissa. Both of them are sexually assaulted and killed in the same brutal way. And if that isn't enough, he also beats their 3-year-old daughter, Vanessa, so badly, it's a miracle she even survives. And here's the really chilling part. The Bennetts aren't the only ones this guy goes after. Just 2 weeks earlier, on January 4th, someone broke into a house and attacked a couple with a hammer. Somehow, they both survived. Then, 6 days after that, 2 more women are attacked with a hammer. He surprises one of them, a 28-year-old flight attendant, in her garage as she's getting out of her car. She's raped and beaten so badly she ends up in a coma, but manages somehow to pull through. The other woman, 50-year-old Patricia Smith, doesn't make it. She works from home as an interior designer, so it's the middle of the afternoon and she's home alone in the townhouse that she shares with her daughter and grandkids. She's just eating lunch, a burger and fries from Wendy's, when a killer comes in through the unlocked garage door and rapes and beats her to death with a hammer. Her daughter finds her body that night when she comes home. The attacks are all very similar. In every case, the killer comes in through the attached garage. His weapon of choice is always a hammer. He always takes purses and wallets. Both the Bennett and Smith homes back up to undeveloped land, and the women are left naked on the floor with blankets covering their heads. Years later, a judge would call it an unspeakable orgy of violence. It will take another 34 years before they have his name, Alex Ewing. The cops are looking for the killer in Colorado, but 24-year-old Alex is already in Arizona. 11 days after he kills the Bennett family, he breaks into an Arizona house in the middle of the night and beats a man senseless with a 25-pound slab of granite. He's arrested the next day when a cop sees him looking super suspicious, trying to hitch a ride out of town. But the local jails are too crowded, so they stick him in a cell in Utah. Now, the real problem comes when they try to bring him back to Arizona and they stop for gas in Henderson, Nevada. Prisoners, Alex among them, are waiting in line to use the bathroom, but he's not handcuffed or restrained in any way, so he makes a run for it toward like a neighboring Kmart, where they lose him in the store in the dressing rooms because he's whipping off his stuff. The first thing he does that night is break into a house where he beats a sleeping couple within an inch of their lives with an old axe handle. The devil has this guy. His story's all too familiar. Kicked out of high school for drinking and drugs. Next stop, juvie for burglary, which he quickly escalates to home invasions and then rape and murder. He travels the country like that. He sees the inside of jail cells in California, Florida, and Arizona, but he's not doing serious get him off the streets time. And then in 1983, he lands in Denver, Colorado, where he traumatizes an entire city. Finally, in 1985, the state of Nevada sends him away for 110 years for the Henderson axe handle attack. Well, at least now, no one's going to wake up to the sight of Alex standing over their beds with a hammer. But little do they know, he's got a lot more bodies to answer for. Then, in 2008, a 19-year-old college student, Brianna Henderson, is raped and murdered in Reno. So, what does that have to do with our guy? Well, as it turns out, quite a lot. Her death led to Brianna's Law in 2013, which requires the state to collect DNA from inmates. In 2018, they got around to Alex Ewing, and that got a hit on the DNA he left behind on his victims back in 1984. Now, it took 37 years, but Colorado finally caught this maniac. Alex Ewing got 4 life sentences for the murders of the Bennett family and Patricia Smith. no possibility of parole. Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you like getting all the crime in half the time, let us know with a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe so you never miss a recap. I'm Amy. Chris and I are here 3 times a week with new stories. Thanks again for stopping by. Take care.